motherfuckers. I'm back, sir. And by sir, I mean bitches.
Burner, get the fuck out of here.
Is it just me, or is it a scary time for white men?
Burner, get out of here. God, who knew you would have those sort of hot take opinions?
I'm just saying, if it really happened, she would have evidence.
Get out of here! Get out of here, Burner!
Get out of here.
Jesus.
Jeez.
Take your MAGA hat with you. Hoof. I'm sorry for Bernard.
Burner, like, he hasn't shown up in a while.
But
now you know
was
why.
a completely different person. Completely different person.
Oh, my goodness.
Holy shit.
Well, hey, welcome to a special Monday up of the review. It's not a flashback, it's a hot new ep steaming right out of our mouths.
Yes.
And by a hot new ep, we're talking about a movie that's 11 years old.
Yeah.
But it does tie in with what's popular now, Venom, with the first theatrical look at the titular Venom.
Yes. With Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man 3, the third installment of that beast. You want some facts on Spider-Man 3?
Give it to
right
me.
Off the head. Came out May 4th, 2007. Little summer release there.
Summer release.
Budget of, get this, budget of $258 million.
Oh, God, I almost threw up in my mouth a little
More
bit.
than double of Venom's budget.
Oof.
Domestically, though, made $336.5 million
I would hope so.
in its theatrical run. Worldwide, shy of a bill at $890.8 million.
Why didn't they make a fourth?
Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes has this at 63%. IMDb has it at a 6.2 out of 10. Very comparable there.
Yeah.
Metacritic has it at 59%. All of them fairly close in their rankings there.
Right.
And this was the #1 movie that came out in 2007, according to the box office.
Man.
Yes. Oh, actually, I have a screenshot for this.
Oh, no.
Just a second. Just a freaking second.
Okay.
Okay. So, where do you think this movie landed in all of the movies in the Sony Spider-Man franchises? This is domestically.
Maybe number 2?
Actually,
Number 1?
it made number 3
Oh.
domestically, oddly enough. The
Ironic.
first Spider-Man that Sam Raimi made $403.7 million domestically.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, this is right after the X-Men,
Yeah.
when there weren't any superhero movies
yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man is a hot ticket item.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man 2 comes in second.
Really?
Yes. Spider-Man 3 comes in third. Spider-Man Homecoming comes in fourth.
Really?
Yeah. But no, this is just domestic, though.
Okay.
And then The Amazing Spider-Man and then its sequel.
Yeah.
At $202 million.
Yeah.
Now, worldwide, unadjusted for inflation, Spider-Man 3 worldwide is number 1.
Jesus.
Yeah. And then Homecoming is number 2 at, it made just $10 million
Actually,
less.
you know what? I think Venom strikes me as like something that like Japanese and like Chinese like people would fucking love. It kind of like strikes me as like that anime type character.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe, but it's like rooted in such like Western culture that
I know, but I don't know. Every time I think of anime, I always think of like those like tentacly type.
Are you thinking of hentai?
Maybe, but like I don't know. Even like when we saw Akira, there was like even
Sure.
when like things were going nuts there, they always had like these weird like things that stuck out with like tentacles and shit.
Sure. just to finish off my list, Spider-Man 3 is number 1, and then Homecoming is number 2, and then the original Spider-Man, and then 2, and then Amazing, and then its sequel, Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
So there you go. A little fun with facts there. What's the story to Spider-Man 3?
Well, I gave the story for Venom. You give the story for Spider-Man 3.
Okay. We pick up where we left off. Peter Parker is now a very popular figure. Spider-Man is...
Everyone loves him.
Spider-Man. And in an odd role reversal, Mary Jane is the one kind of not living up to her potential, I suppose. Getting a little bit dogged on more than usual.
Yeah. Well, she starts out being kind of successful. She's on a Broadway play.
Yeah, to set it up, but then but then she has the old Parker luck, and like everything doesn't start going right, and everything starts shitting on her. But throughout the movie, we get some foils for Spider-Man. We get Sandman is introduced as a foil for him. Venom obviously is introduced. Harry Osborn comes back as a bit of a foil for the old Spider-Man, carrying on the Goblin legacy of the last 2 films.
Yes.
And then Spider-Man has to figure out how to overcome all of those odds and defeat his foes and save the day.
He sure does.
Sure does. So I think I brought up and I went on a mini rant last Thursday's episode. Not last Thursday, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
About Avi Arad.
Yeah.
I hate that man. And so the only reason Venom was even introduced in Spider-Man 3 is because of this man.
Yeah.
Because, if you're going to... I'm doing an approximation of his accent.
Okay.
If you're going to do Spider-Man 3, you have to have him... he's the most Spider-Man popular character. You need to put him in the movie. He kind of sounds like his neighbor landlord. Peter Parker's neighbor landlord.
You want an orange?
You a good man? You a good Venom? Yeah. That's it. So that's the only reason he's in this. Sam Raimi is a lover of the original incarnation of the character from the 60s and the 70s.
Yeah.
That's what he grew up on as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows in the way he delivers Spider-Man in his movies.
Yeah.
They're fun. Well, fun to the point if you look at like the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Like you can tell they have like a quirky, like kind of weird, timeless charm to them that the Amazing Spider-Man does not have. It feels like it's set in a different time period, even though it's like happening kind of now. Mm-hmm. And it's like
everyone kind of also has like that, even though it's set in modern times, everyone kind of has like that 60s, 70s mentality where they all kind of like speaking, geez, Jonah, what you gonna do about this? Take your pills.
Yeah. And I really dig that he stuck to his guns and did that. The only thing is, it juxtaposed in this own movie that they needed to have this Venom character. He got forced into doing it by Avi Arad because he's like a super popular character. That was the only reason.
Yeah.
And granted, I bet you would put butts in seats. It's the #1 movie worldwide in 2007.
Yeah.
But they crammed a lot of stuff in this movie.
Yeah. I feel like even though they made Sam Raimi put Venom in this, he still tried to stick to his guns to try to make the movie that he wanted.
Yeah.
And in that attempt, it's just a mess of so much happening.
Yeah. But like I would like I'm not going to worry about spoilers in this. This movie is fucking 12 years old or whatever.
If you're listening to this, you've probably already seen it. So just listen to the fucking thing.
So I feel like even though there's so much crammed into this movie, it is more coherent than Venom was.
I'll say that, yeah. At least this one, granted, it has some dumb humor. I don't think it insults my intelligence as much as Venom does.
Right. I actually, on this, because I haven't seen Spider-Man 3 in a while, I liked this more than I thought I was going to going in.
Really?
I did.
Okay.
Because I was ready to really dog shit on it.
Yeah.
And there were parts in this I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot this was in there. There are parts I don't like, but overall I'm like, that was fine. That was fine.
Yeah.
Like, I just sat back and tried to just enjoy the ride it was taking me on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, regardless of that fact, I think Venom did not need to be in this movie. In fact, these are the things I don't want in this movie. 1, Venom. 2, Topher Grace as Venom. 3, Gwen Stacy. She can be out.
Yeah.
And then... Oh, shit, I wrote it down. Oh yeah, that's it. My note is Sandman is great in this. I wish he was the only Venom, or the oh fuck no. Now I got Venom on the brain. I wish he was the only villain in this.
Yeah.
And then they wrapped up the Harry Osborn arc in this as well. Because then you only have to deal with 2 hanging plot threads.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have this shoehorned in thing, which it is definitely shoehorned in. To the fact that it doesn't even really explain what Venom is.
Yeah.
He just lands on Earth in the opening sequence, and then he just runs amok until, like, the end of the second act.
Yeah. Even if it's supposed... Like, they even do the thing where it's like, if it is supposed to be symbiotic and be with a host, it spends an unmeasurable amount of time not being with a host.
Yeah. It just is, like, kind
It
of
just hangs out in Peter's apartment
yeah.
for what could be 3 months.
Who knows? But yeah, my note is I wish the Sandman was the only villain. They could have then wrapped up the Harry Osborn storyline. They didn't have to do that dark, weird turn they took Peter on. He could have just... I feel like if they took all of that out, made it a nice, tight story, because I really like the Sandman stuff in this quite a bit.
Okay.
Still.
Okay.
Like, I know it's kind of cliche, and they don't... And they do make him the murderer of Uncle Ben, which I also don't like.
Ugh, okay, yeah.
That I hate that
Yeah.
very much. I think that Thomas Hayden Church did a pretty good emotional part in this and made him not just a villain for no reason and made him kind of a sympathetic person, which at this point in the Spider-Man movies that we've gotten from this point,
Yeah.
we haven't gotten yet. We've gotten Green Goblin, who goes crazy.
Yeah.
And is just like a maniac. We got Dr. Octopus, who is a brilliant man, but then goes crazy.
I came up with this idea that all 3 Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies involve an entity that enters someone's mind and makes them go crazy.
That's very true. That's very true. But Sandman, I felt like, kept his humanity even though he became like this monstrous thing. And if Spider-Man at the end of this was just only gonna fight Sandman, where Sandman grows this big giant monster,
Yeah.
like I thought that'd be a pretty, and like had it like stretch out to this like a decent fight,
Yeah.
instead of just being bombarded with a few bombs and then being taken out right away.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a good. I think it would have been a good arc, and it would have been a nice tight like 120 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you disagree?
To be honest, Troy, I wholeheartely disagree.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I honestly thought I'm like the exact reverse, where I thought the Sandman stuff was forced, and for as like kind of weird as the movie is, I was not hating the symbiote stuff.
Okay.
I even like Topher Grace as Eddie Brock in this.
Yeah, okay.
Quite a bit.
I don't disagree with you, because I was a supporter of him in this. I didn't mind because everyone hated when this movie came out in 2007 that he wasn't like this big beefy dude who gets like this alien costume and becomes like this monstrous guy.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that it was Topher Grace, who's kind of small and unassuming, and he gets this monstrous creature on him. It turns him to like this beast.
Yeah.
And what you see Venom visually is like his inner demons coming out.
Yeah.
And lashing out.
Yeah.
I was a supporter of
Yeah.
Topher Grace when it came out.
if I'm going to be fully honest, I hated everyone in this but Topher Grace.
Oh, really? Okay.
This movie is so weird because I feel like everyone is not even acting like a human being. Everyone is acting like like a character type or an archetype or just like something to appease the plot. But I feel like Topher Grace is the only one that kind of adds some kind of character that feels human. Everyone else just feels really weird and forced. Even Peter Parker.
Yeah, there are points where I agree with you that Peter and Mary Jane feel like they're just putting in the work.
Yeah, like it feels like they have conflict for no reason because they're not talking to each other. Yeah. I feel like they don't have conversations outside of the dialogue in this movie. Because if they would, they would figure out what the problem is.
Yeah.
But every time they talk to each other, it's just very blanket statements, and then they get mad at each other, where it's like, just, whoa, don't run away. Just, if there's a problem, you can easily figure it out with, like, maybe 2 or 3 more sentences. But then they're just like, you don't listen to me, I'm going. Like, you're not listening to him! Listen to each other. You're the worst. This is the one movie I've seen where I wanted the couple to not be together. They need to break up because they are just not. They're the most unhealthy relationship I've ever seen.
I agree. So like, I don't want to just repeat like another person's opinion on this, but Jason Mantzoukas in an How Does This Get Made said they have the personality of 2 wet bags of dog shit, and I agree partially with that. Is that I don't think they have any chemistry in this movie.
No.
But when they do have their fights, I feel like actual human moments come out, and I think those are well done. Like, for instance, when Harry Osborn forces Mary Jane to break up with him on the bridge, I thought that was pretty good, because he thinks he's going to meet Mary Jane to reconcile with her. Yeah. And get back together, but unbeknownst to him, like she's breaking off with him under duress. Yeah. And he doesn't know why, and she can't tell him why, and he's confused and sad, and I feel it from both of them in that moment there. That I thought that was a pretty good scene.
Okay, that was a good scene. Let me ask you.
Okay.
How does he get Mary Jane to break up with Peter Parker? He tells Mary Jane,
just to go
either break up with Peter or I'm going to kill him.
Yeah.
Who is Peter Parker?
What are you talking about?
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So Mary Jane is just like, oh, Harry's going to kill Spider-Man.
Well, at this point, like, he's got like full goblin strength and like almost puts her through a wall. So that could be a formidable
Peter Parker Spider-Man!
But, like,
what's going to stop him from doing it in the future? So you broke up with Peter Parker. I'm going to still fucking kill him. Mm-hmm. That is the dumbest fucking reason I ever saw. Like, if she didn't know he was Spider-Man, sure. Holy shit, that's scary. I'm going to totally break up with him. He's fucking Spider-Man. Why doesn't... They're together? Why doesn't she... Harry's not even in on the conversation. Just be like, Harry fucking held me against a wall and said he was going to kill you if I didn't break up with you. Why doesn't she say that? Harry's nowhere near the situation.
See, that doesn't bother me. This whole thing, I thought it was fine. I thought it was well done. Why
did she fuck with him in that way if she knew that he was powerful enough to fight him off?
She was already threatened by Harry Osborn. She was almost put through a brick wall, and he held her by the throat. Like, I'm going to go kill her boyfriend. If she's already in this situation, there's no reason for her not to think, if I don't follow through, he'll just kill me too. He's fucking gone off the crazy end.
Her boyfriend is fucking Spider-Man, and she's about to talk to him personally without Harry involved in the situation.
If she's scared enough, then I could see her going through this. Agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree is the stupidest fucking thing ever. I
don't think it's stupid. No, I don't think it's stupid.
So you have a powerful person. So that means she has no faith in Spider-Man. She feels like, oh, Harry just held me against a wall. there's no way that my boyfriend Spider-Man could beat him, even though I've seen him beat the Green Goblin, who has the same fucking strength, and Dr. Octopus, who is like these tentacles. She knows who her boyfriend is, and she's about to see him in a situation that Harry's not involved in.
Yeah.
Even if she knows that he's watching, be like, look sad and walk away, and we'll take care of this later. I'm not breaking up with you. I'm just telling you that he wanted me to break up with you.
Sure. Fine. None of this bothers me at all. And you yelling at me is not going to change my opinion.
All right. I'm just saying that was literally when I went into it being like, he threatened her life and like forced, like, oh, he's going to kill her. But he was like, I'm going to kill Peter if you don't break up with him. He's fucking Spider-Man.
Listen, this has a line in it where fucking literally Willem Dafoe says, first we attack his heart. So obviously...
He said that in all of them.
So obviously they need to follow through with Willem Dafoe says, because he's the most prominent actor in this movie. And he came back for this one part to yell, first we attack his heart.
These people have the dumbest fucking ideas. And this is just one of the many.
Can we go over some Sandman stuff really quick? Because I do have some gripes about it.
Okay.
Like how Sandman is created. First of all, I know this has probably gone over
What's this experiment?
What? And first of all, yeah. What are they doing to sand to demolecularize sand?
Yeah. What is this gonna do?
What are you making smaller sand? I don't know. And first of all, why are you doing it outside with no roof?
Yeah, guys, sand is too big. We need to make it smaller.
Why is the experiment outside, not in a controlled area, where just a bird could land in this thing? And the fact that it may happen so often that one of the scientists just brushes it off is like, yeah, it's probably a bird. Fuck it. Just start it.
And that it is so unguarded that he climbs a fence, and the cops know that this man climbed this fence.
Right.
And they're just like, all right. They don't call it in. They don't say he's in this testing site.
Right.
We need to inform the proper authorities. There might be some kind of phone number on these signs that are saying dangerous, keep out.
Right.
That we could call to be like, hey, if you're doing some weird molecular type experiments,
you might want to
don't do it because there's an escaped convict inside of it.
It's also, I noticed on this rewatch too, is that he falls in the pit and then the blast doors close, closing the windows after he already has fallen in. And I'm like, you should have been able to see him.
There's
in there.
no windows. It's just a bunch of rods spinning.
Like, he falls in there, and then there's that little scientist room that blast doors come down to evade their vision of the demolecularization to the pit. They could have seen him fall in there, and nobody says anything.
That was a really big bird that just fell in there.
Oh, should I see that man-sized bird? He'll probably fly away. So there's that. I have so many questions about that molecular experiment.
How stuck up is the daughter of the Sandman that she keeps a locket of herself?
I never thought about that, but I just assumed that it was his locket for whatever reason. But I did still like the Sandman origin scene where he's trying to grab the locket. I thought that still worked. I thought the Danny Elfman score was really well done during that too.
Yeah, I mean that was fine, but he's just such a I understand you like it, but it's so one note because it's just like I want to save my daughter. I want to save my daughter.
Yeah.
And it's so one note, and then even like the things that he does in it, it makes no sense. Where it's like I'm going to steal all this money to save my daughter, and it's like I'm sure they're going to ask where they got all that money if you ever do get it to her.
But yeah, so like okay, so I get what your argument is, but like I feel if Raimi had his original vision with this and didn't have to cram stuff 1,000 other things in here in order to make the Venom storyline work to appease the producers, I think that his like wholesome 60s-ish story would have worked for the Sandman.
Yeah.
Stretched out through this whole movie. Like
okay.
That's my personal belief. That's not what we got because we got more of a Venom story than we got a Sandman story. but I feel that if this was done right, that Spider-Man 4, what they had in the works with John Malkovich being the Vulture, would have been awesome.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to seen that.
Yeah, John Malkovich as the Vulture would have been really fun.
Yeah, it would have been. And I was following that really close because I was in college and I was really getting into like pre-production movie news and stuff like that. And I was following that really close up until the day it was just officially canceled, and I was pretty bummed out.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck yeah, John Malkovich as the Vulture? Yes! And then it was like, nope, canceled. Like, fuck.
I think if the Sandman stuff was more thought out, and like if it would have had its own movie, I think it would have been drawn out to an extent where it would have made sense and it would have been more fun. But I feel like because the studio was harping on him for so much of the Venom stuff, that it did kind of get brushed to the wayside, and he did want to still include it, but I felt like because it was so far to the wayside, everything about it, like, that felt forced.
Yeah.
Even though it was probably his original vision, all of the scenes from that felt forced.
Okay.
Even the scene where, so when Peter Parker actually does get the Venom suit, that's dumb. Because I like that he's the Venom. I love the Venom suit thing and him like dealing with the idea that he's a darker version of himself. But he essentially almost kills two people, or he thinks that he's killed one person, almost kills his best friend, ruins a man's life and career, doesn't snap out of it until he backhands his girlfriend.
Yeah.
So a double homicide and ruining a man's life, he's fine. Backhands Mary Jane, I'm a fucking dick.
Well, he's got personal stakes with Mary Jane.
Still, that makes Peter Parker a huge piece of shit.
Yeah, it does.
Peter Parker's a huge piece of shit to this whole thing. Mary Jane's a piece of shit too. But they're both very shitty people in this. They're people, like, if they're going to be in a relationship, they need to talk to each other, but they never do.
No, that's true. A lot of things can be definitely thought out, or at least talked out of this whole
throughout
movie.
I think Peter Parker's just I kind of want to go back and rewatch 1 and 2 because I think I liked him more in that, but in this, watching this back, I just don't like him at all. Every time he shows up, I'm just like, you're such a fucking skeevy dickhead throughout this whole fucking thing. Like, you never seem to really empathize with anybody. Like, you only look out for yourself, even when he's not wearing the fucking Venom suit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's even, like, but Mary Jane even brings that up, because, like, anytime she has, like, something where she needs, like, emotional support, he always brings up, like, well, when I'm Spider-Man, I just get back up on the horse and do whatever. And she's like, I don't need that speech right now. I need you to just say everything's going to be okay.
But she never conveys... Go ahead.
And then he just jumps off and goes to be Spider-Man when she needed when she needed him there more.
But the thing is, she never conveys why she needs that speech. She never tells him that she got fired.
She never has time. Like, granted, she keeps it from him, yes. But he doesn't make the time for her to even listen. So it goes both ways. Like, they could have had that conversation in his apartment room, but like he jumped out the window to be Spider-Man instead. Sure,
but it's still like she gets mad at him because she doesn't tell him the thing that's bothering her, but yet she gets mad that he doesn't know the thing that's bothering her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Granted,
like
even
if
when
they
they're
talk
at that,
to each other,
even when they're at that dinner, and she leaves. Mm-hmm. She could have told him then, but she still's like, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Like, so you're being mad at him for a thing that he doesn't know why you're mad. And then meanwhile, he's being a skeevy dickhead all the fucking time, and I can't even fucking like him.
Yeah. Well, so this is my thought process on him now, because now in this third movie, Spider-Man is actually liked, and before then he's been like the world's most shit on nerd, and he finally has a little bit of popularity or something he can hold on to.
Yeah.
And now he thinks he's like king shit because he has this little bit of confidence. And so even when the dance number scenes come up,
Yeah.
which he's like doing fucking disco down the street or whatever.
Yeah.
I like that because
No, I do too.
Because he's like a total dweeb and now he thinks he's fucking hot shit. But even as he's dancing down the street, people are like, ugh, like disgusted with him.
But they changed it up a lot, though. Like, there's some women that are, like, disgusting, the other women that are, like, turned on by it.
No, I watched this intently. Nobody is turned on by his dancing.
What's her name from the Daily Bugle is turned on by it.
Oh, Betty Brant. But, like, walking down the street, sure. But, like, Betty Brant has, like, a relationship with him already.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of discounting that one. But, like, he's walking down the street, and he's pointing at chicks, and they're either laughing in his face or, like, turning around and trying not to
But I like that shit because, yeah, like, this does, like, you said that you had, like, a idea about which did Venom right.
Yeah.
And I feel like Spider-Man 3 is the one that did Venom the best.
Okay.
Because it's what it's supposed to be, and they even explain it where it's like it's this symbiotic host that latches onto you and then pretty much expels what you're feeling or like your amplifies who you are.
Yeah.
And so it's like all these like deep-seated feelings that Peter has, it comes out through this Venom.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, and he's a dork. So like when he goes out and he like does all this shit in public, he doesn't have like that self-repression where he holds it back because he thinks it's inappropriate.
Right.
He goes out and he fucking dances to jazz and he fucking acts shitty to people.
Right.
And when he actually does come across his uncle's killer, he fucking kills him and shit.
Uh-huh.
So it's like he acts on all the things that he represses and holds deep down inside, and that's what I think Venom's supposed to be, and like that's why I think this does Venom better than what Venom does.
I'm not.
And it doesn't fucking talk to him.
See, okay, I don't mind that Venom talks to Eddie in the Venom movie. I don't mind that he's in his head, but I don't know which one did the character better. I like that it's more ambiguous in this one, that they don't have to go to try to explain like a whole lineage of like these symbiote creatures or whatever as they did in Venom.
Yep.
This one is kind of just like a random occurrence, even though it's like I would have liked a better reason why it just came to Earth rather than just landed.
I don't. That doesn't matter to me.
Yeah. Okay. But I did like that what it did in this more than in Venom, where it was kind of just like, I'm just gonna take control of your body sometimes, and maybe I'm bad for your health or whatever.
Yeah.
And this is just like, it's a parasitic organism that like revs up your fucking emotions to 10.
Like I always saw kind of like the symbiote as kind of like an allegory for drugs, where it's bad for you but it makes you feel powerful
really
and strong.
Yeah.
So like even when you try and get away from it, it still kind of like calls back to you like, I need to bring it just one more time. I'll wear it one more time. Like even when like there's multiple times where like he takes the suit off and throws it in a trunk and tries to put it under his bed, but there's like when like things start getting hard, he looks at that trunk and he's like, should I put it back? I think I should put it back on.
Yeah.
Like that's what it's supposed to be. Like it's supposed to be an allegory for like drugs or some kind of like habit where it's like it's bad for you, but it feels good. Yeah, but it feels good. Like it feels like it gets the job done when other times it doesn't.
Yeah.
So I like that idea of it. It's just that them introducing like, oh, I did all this shit, but oh my god, I backhanded Mary Jane. I should really rethink my life. Like, well, fuck you, dude. Like you've done so much horrible shit and you've gotten to this point. Yeah, whatever.
Well, that was like the culmination of everything. Like, not only is he like going around being a total d-bag, now he just like hits the woman that he's like loved forever. I think that would be like a big wake-up call.
Yeah, okay, maybe, but I don't know. He's murdered people.
Did he murder somebody?
Well, he thought that he murdered the Sandman.
Oh yeah,
and he almost fucking. How much time went by from when Harry ate that fucking grenade
Oh yeah.
Because when they go back, so like he fucking takes a grenade, and then the next time you see him, he's got scar tissue all over his face.
That's true.
That means a year went by or some shit. How is he not like fucking like scabbed to fuck?
Yeah, I didn't really pay attention to that, but yeah, but while we're on that subject, I actually really enjoyed that fight scene up in Harry's penthouse.
I more like the one in the beginning when it was him and Peter.
Oh, when they're rocketing through the streets.
Yep, yeah,
whatever.
I thought that one was pretty fun.
That was good too. I thought, even though they're both like superhuman powered people, that the fight in the penthouse was actually still felt really personal. And like, I remember in the theater watching this. Granted, I'm one of the dicks when this came out. I was dressed as Venom when I went to the theater for this. I painted my face up and everything. And then there were like literal gasps when Spider-Man like threw that grenade back at him.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, "Oh," and then it blew up in fucking Harry Osborn's face. I was like, that was pretty well done. And even watching it this time when they're just chucking each other across the room, it didn't feel like.
And the blade that comes out of his arm that makes the whooshing sound for no reason.
Oh yeah, I kind of like that. I just like that sound or whatever. But I really liked that fight scene, and a lot of the action scenes in this too. I kind of liked until the end where like they were kind of rubbery CGI people or whatever.
Yeah.
But I thought up until then, I thought the action was pretty well done. You can see what's going on.
Yeah.
Like they were pretty personable fights. Like I thought they were pretty good.
What did you think of James Franco's
Weird
portrayal as Harry Osborn?
I felt it was the weirdest in this one.
He acted like a fucking doofus throughout the whole fucking thing.
I liked when he was Happy Harry. I thought it was funny, and on this rewatch, I'm like, this is fun. Look at him being a total doof. Like, I liked it.
There's that face.
I liked it.
They're my best friends.
I thought it was fun. Like, granted, watching this, I'm like, James Franco's not like the best actor, is he? But when he was like Happy Harry in this for a minute, I thought it was fun.
He's such a fucking doofus.
Yeah, I know, but I thought it was fun.
There's that scene. Oh, it was such a painful. All the scenes like in his apartment were so fucking painful. Like the one where he's just talking to Peter and they're just like, "Hey, remember when we played basketball?
Oh yeah,
blah blah blah." And
that
then when
bad.
like Mary Jane came in and they were like cooking together and they did the twist.
See, I thought that was fine.
Oh,
I thought that was fine.
It was like, what the fuck is happening right now? What is this shit I'm
I thought
watching?
that was okay. I am on
They're
board
just-
with all that Happy Harry
what
stuff.
What is happening? Like, why are you doing the twist now? And they're just like awkwardly doing the twist too, where it's like, look at me.
Thought it was fine. I was into it. What I liked less was the depressed, super serious Harry when he's like, "Oh,
But
yeah,
I
I
like
forgot
that-
I'm supposed to be the Green Goblin."
I like the depressed because he was like total like he came off more like a smarmy dick when he was the dickhead Harry.
Oh, sure. When he's
When
like
he
in
was-
that cafe or whatever.
Yeah, when he was happy Harry, he seemed like he was just like,
Oh,
I like my friend. Where's my friends? I like my friends. Hey, remember this? You want to do my play? Hey, Bernard, get some food.
Bernard, do I have a girlfriend? I don't think so.
I should get a girlfriend. Hey, Peter. Hey, Mary Jane. There's my friends.
I liked it. I don't care what you say.
I was like, what is? You're not even a person right now.
I liked it.
Like you're not even acting like a human. You're just like. And then the whole amnesia angle is so overdone too.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I was just like, the fuck is happening?
yeah, I can't argue with that. What else do I have?
Yeah, but how about Bernard being the biggest villain out of the entire Spider-Man universe?
Just by not.
Just like, oh yeah,
talking
by
to
the
people,
way, the whole
turns
reason,
out-
yeah, the whole reason why you want revenge on Spider-Man, it's bullshit because they didn't tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably something you should have told him when it happened.
I cleaned his wounds, sir.
The glider pierced.
The glider pierced
I
his body was pierced by his own glider.
I cleaned his wounds.
I cleaned his wounds.
Fucking Bernard, you should have told me that in the first movie, you asshole.
You dumb fuck. You could have saved 2 movies of grief. You dumb old fuck.
Yeah, I really got nothing else. I just went through all my notes. I think we hit pretty much on everything.
Yeah. But I'll go back to like why I really like Eddie Brock in this, because I think he's like the most human character out of everybody.
Well, he's like the only one with an arc really in the movie.
Yeah, and he strikes me as like a person. Like he does all this like shitty shit, but like he does it in a way where like he's kind of lying to himself.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Where like you can see like he does stuff where it's like he like calls Gwen Stacy his girlfriend even though they went on one date.
Yeah.
And like he like cheats his way to getting a job at the Daily Bugle.
Yep.
And then when Peter calls him out on it, he's like, I just really need this.
Uh-huh.
And like the fact that he always calls him, like people call him Eddie or Brock, and he always corrects them and says Edward Brock Jr.
Uh-huh.
Where it's like you feel like he has like some daddy issues there, where like he was
I
like,
didn't read into it that much.
but I felt that because where it's like he always says Edward Brock Jr. Where it's like he always makes sure that the surname, like his dad's name, was out there. Where it's like you feel like he was trying to really make himself look like this big person in front of his dad, and his dad never really accepted him, and then that's why he's like he needs to like that's why he like needs to like always I need to have like the prettiest girl as my girlfriend. I need to have like the best job, and then when they don't pan out and his life goes to shit, he can't blame himself because that means he failed, so then he blames it all on Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And then that's when Venom attaches itself to him.
Yeah.
I like that whole story, and that's why he feels like the most human character out of everybody. Everyone else just feels like a shell of a person kind of going through the motions to try and make you feel like, oh, Mary Jane, don't leave. And it's like, you didn't do shit to fucking keep Mary Jane. Mary Jane didn't do shit to fucking keep you.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Harry Osborn is a fucking weirdo. And like
Weirdo I love.
Sandman is just saying I want my daughter.
Yep.
It's just everyone is just very one note, and Eddie Brock seems like the only character in this that feels that he has dimensions and a character that I can actually follow.
Okay.
That's why I think like he's the best, and I think like this is the best portrayal of Venom. This is a better portrayal of Venom other than Venom.
Okay. The only other one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there. Yeah, I agree. I
Good.
feel like he's the most like fleshed out character in this.
And I think he has like the less amount of screen. Like I think he has less screen time than Sandman even.
Yeah, Sandman didn't end up being in this a whole lot.
No, he isn't. But like the small bits you get of Eddie Brock, I think speak more volumes than even Peter Parker.
Yeah. Well, like the bummer thing is like they've already gone through like 2 other movies before this. And so they're like, where can we really go with this character now?
Yeah.
So like we can make him like moody and depressed and like angry. And so they did that, but like he other than like Eddie Brock, like maybe he'd have the most second most like turnaround in this. Like he does have like a mini arc where he does have like that dark period for a moment to realize it's bad for him.
Yeah.
But like I don't feel like it has much of a payoff as like Eddie Brock does.
Yeah.
So I agree.
Even though I hate that he has like the fucking teeth. That it climbs in his throat to fucking make his weird jangled teeth.
Oh, that didn't bother me.
It's so dumb.
I do like the way Venom looks in Venom more than I do in this. Even like when Ghost Hunter Dave, even since this movie came out, he always said that Venom's head in this looks like they just cut a basketball in half. I'm like, kind of. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Before we go, my favorite scene in this whole thing. This made me bust out laughing. So the whole scene when Gwen Stacy is like clinging for her life, when the crane like runs through the building, and then like she's like hanging out of a window. Her father, who's the police commissioner,
right,
grabs binoculars, looks up to the building, sees his only daughter hanging for her life out of a top-story building window, and he says, "What's she doing up there?"
Yep.
I was laughing hysterically. I was like, "That's your."
That is superior acting by James Cromwell.
Yeah. What is she doing up there? She's screaming for her life.
Honey, quit farting around.
Hey, what is she doing up there?
Oh my god. Yeah. So overall, what would you?
This movie's a mess.
What would you grade the movie?
This is probably, even though I like the portrayal of Venom in this more than in Venom, I'm gonna probably have to give it like the same grade as I did Venom. Like,
really?
D-. I did not like. Everyone in this is such a fucking cardboard cutout of a person. The only person that seems like a human being is Eddie Brock. Everyone else is just, I love you, Mary Jane. You don't listen to me. You don't talk. You don't fucking talk, Mary Jane. Everyone, it just seems like just walking through a haze of just what a person should be. No one acts like how a person acts. And this one didn't insult my intelligence, but it gave me characters I could give less of a fuck about. Sure. So just for that sin alone, I'm just going to give it the same grade I gave Venom as a D-.
Oh my goodness.
This movie sucks.
I'm going to grade this like way higher than you. Not like a perfect score or anything like that, but like I watched this and I had a fairly good time with it because I remember not liking it so much. And then I was watching it this time and like, what was I complaining about? This movie's fun enough. Like, I thought it was better than Venom overall.
Yeah.
And I thought it stuck true to what Raimi already set up before. So I'm going to give this movie like a high C+. All
right. I won't fault you for it. I'm just, I don't know.
I had fun. Like, maybe it's just the time that passed and I knew what to expect going in. But the things that bothered me before, I was like, you know what? This is fine. Like, I just let the movie take me for a ride. Whereas, like, I don't think I could do that with Venom. Because I'd be still having the same questions as like, well, why did this happen here, but it didn't happen here? Or why is this whole chunk of the movie missing? And I felt like I got a complete story here, even though things could be solved with just people talking to each other. Yeah. I just let the movie take me for where it wanted to go.
I mean, yeah, this is a complete story, but it's just people don't act like how a person would act in a situation. That's the only thing that rubs me the wrong way. It's like,
I feel, but there are human moments in this though that come out with the arguments that you wouldn't have if they were just been like, hey, let's just sit down and talk and like be fine.
Like, yeah, but the human moments would be them working it out from the argument they have. They have the argument and then they just decide to not talk anymore, just to build up the tension. And yeah. That's not.
But then you wouldn't have a movie. You would just have like it done in the second act.
But they still treat it like it's not even an option. Like if they get to a point where like if they work it out in a way where it's like, oh shit, they're just on two different levels. They just need to find a way to reach that perfect medium. I would get that. I would be behind it. But they get to a point where it's like they keep arguing and then they get to a point where they're just like, so how do we keep the tension? I don't know, just make them run away. Then they're just stupid people.
I don't think it's as
they're
bad
stupid
as
fucking people. They're not fucking. There's such a fucking disregard for like what's really going on that they just ignore it so that they can keep the tension going. And it's stupid.
Well,
like just come out and say that Mary Jane's fucking jealous. That's it. Just come out and say that Peter Parker is on such a high that he is kind of ignoring the fact that Mary Jane is kind of on a shit run right now. But instead of actually kind of going on the idea where it's like, oh no, that might kind of make them seem like a piece of shit, they just ignore it in general. And so it's like, oh, so they're just not people. They're not human beings that communicate with each other.
Do you feel like they completely ignore it as a story wise, or do you just feel like because Peter is on such a high at this point in his life and he wants to keep riding that, he just doesn't think to ask how things are going?
No,
because I can see that.
Because Mary Jane doesn't say anything.
But like he should read a room. You know what? He should come in and be able to like, hey, I can tell you're upset, but guess what? That police scanner's going off, so hopefully this little chat we had is fine. I'm going to jump out a window and leave. Or like even when they come up into the restaurant, like she probably should by now have told him like something is wrong.
Also, that's a scene where Peter's a dick too, where he's like, he doesn't even introduce Mary Jane as his girlfriend. He says, this is my friend Mary Jane.
Right.
And then he talks up fucking Gwen Stacy is that she's like fucking like rubbing the shit out of his shoulder, where it's like, so why didn't you call her your girlfriend if you love her so much?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but that's just another stupid thing they throw in to add tension so that Mary Jane can call him out on that bullshit. If he really loved Mary Jane, he'd be like, hey, excuse me, I'm with my girlfriend right now. Do you mind if, I mean, we'll talk later, but I'm with my girlfriend. I have this really important thing that I want to do with her. Instead, he like eats it up where it's like, yeah, she's my lab partner. Isn't she hot? And she's like rubbing his shoulder and shit where you're just like, you're just a fucking dick then.
So, okay, I'm not trying to defend him or anything like that, but there are points where in my life where I have been on like a bit of like an ego high.
Yeah.
And I don't see his actions in this being out of complete character if all of his life he's been a dweeb and shit on his whole life.
No, I get that. But I would have liked it more if Mary Jane did express what's bothering her, and then he still kind of like, he like kind of introduces it with like, well, when I'm Spider-Man, I try and do this. I would have liked that more, but she doesn't communicate it, so then I hate both of them. As opposed to like,
he does do that though. And when they argue in the apartment, he brings up like, when I'm Spider-Man, I do that, and she's like, I don't want to hear that. I want you just to be here
but she
for
doesn't
me.
introduce what's bothering her. She
because
just says
she never got the chance.
She had the chance there. It's like, oh, I got fired from my job today, so now you're a dick. She could have said that all it takes is 3 seconds to say, I got fired. I got fired from my job.
True.
Just say that, but she never says it because they don't want to fucking make a villain in this. They just want to make them both idiots. So if Spider-Man heard that and was like, oh, well, I was down on my luck, but I put myself back up, then I would have sympathy for Mary Jane, and then that would drive the story. Uh-huh. But the fact she doesn't say that makes them both idiots, so I fucking hate both of them. That's my problem with the movie.
Okay, fair enough. I don't have those same problems. I think it's fine.
Everyone's an idiot in this.
I think, yes, they can be dealt with by talking to each other, but I think both of them have enough egos that they don't want to break the bad news to each other because they want to think everything is still fine, and they want to play off everything is still fine until the point where they both know it's not fine at all, and then they have to split it.
But Mary Jane is saying not everything's fine, and then when Peter asks why, she doesn't say why.
He never comes out and explicitly says why. When
he acts confused, he's like, "What's wrong?" He says, "What's wrong?" and then she says nothing.
Right, when they're at that ceremony for Spider-Man, she doesn't want to ruin his big day.
Yeah, but when they're on that fucking dinner, she could have said something. When they're in the apartment before he leaves, she could have said something. There's so many times where she could have said something, but she doesn't, and then she gets pissed when he doesn't know what's wrong.
Right, but at the same time, he gets interrupted and wants to do his own Spider-Man thing, and she knows that fucking whatever, he's not going to listen to her anyway because his mind is preoccupied.
How does she know?
Because they just heard a fucking radio call, all units, whatever. His mind is completely off her now.
They were talking for a long time.
They were talking for literally 30 seconds.
Well, she could have said, I got fired. Because there was like literally a time there where like when he was like, well, you know, when I get down, I just pick myself up because I'm Spider-Man. It was just like she could have said there, she could have just like, cut him off. And was like, well, I got fired today. How do you think about that?
But she didn't
Because she's an idiot.
No, because she's a person with an ego and she wants to ease into a conversation and she doesn't feel like she needs to break this shitty news to somebody who's having at least a high on their life right now.
My idea is if you're a person that's going to be pissed at somebody and you don't tell them why you're pissed, then you're an idiot.
Well, not everybody just comes into somebody's house and be like, well, I got fired today. Fuck you, Peter. You suck. Go out and be Spider-Man, you cocksucker. I don't give a shit about you. I'm going to drink Drano after you leave.
The fact that she has enough time to say, you don't understand what I'm going through, and not say I got fired, makes her an idiot. In the time it told her to say, you don't know what I'm going through, she could have said I got fired today. But she didn't say I got fired today. She said, you don't know what I'm going through. That makes her a fucking idiot.
I completely disagree with you, and I love that we're fighting about this stupid one little minuscule fact in this movie.
It's a minuscule thing that makes everyone in this movie stupid. Except for Eddie Brock.
Do we already give her grades for this?
Yeah.
Sweet.
I hated it.
How long have we going in this already?
Almost an hour.
God damn, we should probably cut it off right now. So, what did you think of Spider-Man 3? Did you like it more or less than Venom? Let us know on social media. Where can they hit you up, JT?
You can find me at Bucky for Everyone on Twitter, also Bucky for Everyone on Instagram, and hey, why not Bucky for Everyone on Snapchat, Troy.
You can find me at Troy to the Max on Twitter. You can find us both at Review Pod. If you're listening to us right now, you're doing something right. But you can listen to us on a multitude of platforms such as reviewpod.podbean.com and Stitcher and iTunes and Google Podcasts and Spotify. If you got something long form to say, you can do so at reviewpod@gmail.com. That's it.
That's it.
That's all we'll ever say about this ever.
I'm going to take a cold shower when I get home.
We're going to close the book on this and never speak of it again.
It's probably a good thing.
This Thursday coming up, we're going to start some spookiness.
With Halloween.
Yeah.
The original 1978? Yeah.
Maybe. Don't know.
The original Halloween.
Yeah, we're looking.
Michael Myers.
We're looking into watching that bad
Michael
boy.
Myers in a station wagon. Can't wait.
Yeah, for the upcoming remake of Halloween. The sequel to the original
and
Halloween.
then we still got to figure out what spooky film we're going to do for Halloween night.
Ooh. Do you have any ideas so far?
We've got some people that on Twitter that were giving us some ideas. True. We could do that. Maybe do a mini episode before the main episode with an idea. We'll figure it out. We got some ideas.
We'll draw some stuff out of it.
Old Dinosaur Neil is really pushing Hereditary.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either, so that'd be good.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll talk about that. I love you, Neil, but Hereditary is a thing. We'll talk about it.
But yeah, until next time we hear from us about the original Halloween.
Yes.
To wet our whistle for some spooky Halloween goodness.
Spookiness.
I've been Short of the Max Extreme.
I am GG3K.
And we are off.